I'm here in the early morning sunrise just to talk for a few minutes about the creation of the Halloween video and just share how that came together and to do so because it's sort of endemic on how a lot of my work comes together. The origin is the Henny Penny story. I'm just in my car driving along thinking about the cataclysm, and suddenly I thought to myself, the sky is falling. And I remember asking myself, oh my God, is the Henny Penny story a cataclysm story? And it took me all of about a second to go, yes. And so I began this, self-internal search of, if you will, what else might I bring together into that? And I decided one day that I was going to try and record extemporaneously a video on it, which is why I made the mistake of saying wolf instead of fox. But when you look at the cataclysm story, the pre-cataclysm story, we'll discover that the wolf and the fox are the exact same character. We're just talking about, sort of the difference between the military and the government, or, whatever those affectations might be. I was really surprised when I came to find, when I come to find out with a closer reading of the ancient Buddhist scripture that not only is the Henny Penny story true, but I have a direct scriptural link 2,500 years old that says, let me tell you an old world legend. And at that moment, I was absolutely certain that the Henny Penny story was a pre-cataclysm story, and it was about a hare. And so that was sort of the first Henny Penny, Chicken Little, the sky is falling piece that I put together. And I've been thinking about doing another video when it occurred to me that we had meteor showers. It either occurred to me or I came across it somewhere that the Orionids meteor shower was coming up. And I had already determined that the Geminids meteor shower was part of the primary discharge event. And it just sort of occurred to me that that was probably part of the overall picture. And it being Halloween, I looked at the second episode I wanted to produce for The Sky is Falling, and I asked myself, is it possible that Halloween is a cataclysm event? And it took me all of about a second to say, yes, it is. I was as stunned as anyone when it finally occurred to me to pull together the image that I use for the cover. So the cover that you see online, or that you'll see on Monday. When I pulled that cover together, the Nightmare Before Christmas cover, I was absolutely flabbergasted at the implications. And so you will see that at the very end of this video. But when you do see it, like many of my videos, once you see it, you can't unsee it. And so I hope you enjoy my video, Halloween, the real Nightmare Before Christmas. And if you don't want to stop it and watch it till Halloween, stop the video right here. And meanwhile, I do hope that you have a blessed Halloween and a wonderful All Saints Day. And may we remember the dead from that ever hallowed eve. Peace. Oh yeah, guys, the Dirtwire concert last night was smoking. I'm back here talking with Kenny and Jorge, and today we're going to talk about the traditional holidays of Halloween, which is October 31st, and the Day of the Dead, also often called All Saints Day, which is November 1st. And these are once again unrecognized holidays or traditions created as part of the cataclysm. And so we left off in the first part with the Chicken Little story, which is originally rooted, as far back as we can tell, 2,500 years ago in Buddhist scripture. And the Buddhist scripture says that it was not a chicken, but a hare. And in that story about a hare, it says, let me tell you a story about a hare from the old world. So that's how we get this to be a pre-cataclysm story. Not only is it a pre-cataclysm story, but the sky is falling.
Ouch! The sky is falling! I must run and tell the king Lion about it.
In that story, the king and the hare go down, and the king provides deductive reasoning as to why the sky is not falling, and in fact, the sky is falling. We celebrate that that cataclysm from December 17th until December 23rd in tradition as the festival of Saturnalia. 45 days before the festival of Saturnalia is Halloween and the Day of the Dead. What we're looking at is that the cataclysm didn't happen over a single day or even a single week or even a single month. The onset of the cataclysm happened perhaps over years. But like all things like this, it happened slowly at first and then all at once. And on what they recognized in holiday tradition as October 31st, something broke and people died. And ghosts and ghouls and dead roamed the earth with wizards and witches, which tells us that we had the advanced civilization here on earth during that time. Those wizards and witches began casting their spells. These traditions are built into our annual calendar for a reason, and that is that they tell us important information about our holidays. You see, the event caused panic, and if you read into the traditions, people were running around in panic, trick or treat.
Now, are you going to treat or not?
Give me what I need, or I'm going to do something. Tricky, which is the fox. We're back at the fox story.
Dinner is served.
On November 1st, everybody knew people had died, and it became the Day of the Dead. But it also became All Saints' Day, because that was the day that we knew the hare was right.
What's up, Doc?
After the cataclysm, many of these power structures still remained in place, and they certainly didn't want anybody knowing that they'd gotten the cataclysm wrong, which is what we talked about in the encoded information of the Henny Penny story. What people don't know is that if you don't buy into the story that the king was right, you might just be a heretic. So we're going to finish here at the telescope, because this time of year we get a meteor shower called the Orionids meteor shower. And it's called the Orionids meteor shower because the meteor shower comes out, if you will, from the Orion constellation. Orion in mythology was the hunter. He's got a big club, and that was the day that the earth was clubbed. The hunter killed, and people panicked. The Orion constellation was placed in the heavens, according to mythology, by Zeus. And that means that Zeus is our connecting source between the cataclysm and the marcation, the demarcation, if you will, in the sky. On 10/31, people died. And on 11/1, we remembered the dead, and we absolved the saints who tried to tell us the sky was falling. Because Halloween really was the nightmare before Christmas. Ha 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 ha.